Good morning, dear friends of the internet. Welcome to this 10-minute portrait drawing at 10 o'clock on the 10th of December. I'm doing daily 10-minute portraits all through Advent, and it's a matrix themed spread I'm working on at the moment together with you and other people from the Kanyo Film It Challenge. And I spent a little bit more time on my Morpheus from yesterday. Here we go. There are a couple things I noticed right after the stream. It's like all the top of the head is a bit high, and I deepened the shadows a bit, and I also added a little bit to the oracle. And now I feel good. I felt good before, now I feel gooder. And today we're going to sketch Carrie-Anne Moss as Trinity together. So thank you so much for joining me here in this practice. Linda, Christina, Gabriela, Marina, Cindy, so nice to have you here. Yeah, let's do it. There are 8 of you here, so if you haven't said hello yet, please say hello. And if you're watching the replay, please say hello. And let's sketch. I'm not going to do this outstretched hand thing. The hand holding the phone. I'm going to kind of simplify it. I'm focusing on simplification and shadow shapes, and around the eyes connecting up to the hair. There's this really cool shadow shape going on. So that's how I'm thinking and looking at this image at the moment. Hello, Monikozi. Nice to have you here. I got your email with those amazing drawings from that zine that you made of the Syrian musicians. It was so cool to see. I will reply soon. Thank you for sharing that with me. Very, very cool. I'd love to see all of your work. If you're sketching along, you can tag me on Instagram and the Discord server, which the link is in the description. You can join that. We're almost at 500 members there. This time last year, there were 100 people there, and now there's nearly 500, so that's amazing. Everyone can grab the reference there and has the opportunity to share their work and just to chat with each other. All right, so starting 5 minutes and then another 5 minutes. Yeah, just like the overlap between the figures I think is really interesting. Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to solve that here with Trinity and Morpheus, but maybe, yeah, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. Okay, so 5 minutes plus 5 minutes. Let's do it. Last night was my weekly drawing session on Zoom, which I've been doing for nearly 6 years now. Every Tuesday we meet together and sketch for 2 hours. And I was using this pen, which is something in a really brief time frame. I haven't always felt like super confident and successful with this pen, but it's something I've been pushing a bit recently because I think the potential for creating really dynamic, striking marks and doing something really interesting with it. There's really great potential. So that's something I was trying to work on a bit yesterday. Is there anything you are working on in your creative practice at the moment? And speaking of that, I wanted to talk about my mentorship because I'm opening my next round of mentorship starting in January, which is a combination of one-on-one calls and group calls. And it's a wonderful opportunity to learn together and to really do a deep, focused look at where you are in your artistic process. And it can be really helpful to have some extra eyes and just an exchange about where you're at, what you're doing, and where to take it. Because I personally benefited greatly from mentorship. I chose not to go to art school because I had already been around a bit, and I had decided to do workshops and a mentorship, and that became like my art school. And the process of being in the group with the other mentorees, my wonderful mentor, Rebecca Leville-Gay, we would meet often, and she really got to know my work, see where I was at, see what my limitations were, and the growth in my understanding and development that I experienced through that closely guided and intimate mentorship experience was incredible. I learned so much, and I'm really honored to be able to pass that on and also work in that way. And it's been great this year working with my mentorees and really focusing on their work and seeing how they can, really find ways to articulate and define where they're taking it, what they want to do, how they're moving on with their work beyond the wonderful opportunity of there are so many online courses, but having that kind of close, guided, creative exchange can be super beneficial. So that's something I'm offering, and there's a link in the description. If that sounds interesting to you, check it out, get in touch, and that will be starting in January. All right, spend a lot of time with the phone here, which is interesting. But it's an important storytelling device, and I really like the reflections on it, focusing on the shadow shapes as I'm doing this week, and it has very cool, there's a lot of really cool light and shadow. The cinematography in this film is really cool. And it can be really amazing sketching from film stills or from series where there's like a whole team of people have put their creative vision and process into create something stunning and beautiful and powerful. And a lot of the decisions that go into it, the composition, the lighting, the acting skill of the characters. There's so much that goes into these productions, so much creativity on so many levels, and it can be very, very nice working from cool movie stills like this. That was 5 minutes already. How's everyone doing? There are 11 of you here. If you haven't said hello yet, please say hello. All right, next 5 minutes, and then it will be our 10-minute portrait. So, after yesterday's live stream, as soon as it ended, I was like, there were a couple of things I want to adapt and adjust. And so then I did, and it was worth it. Here I've just put the eye in the wrong place. What's going on? Can I salvage that? Maybe. And that was something I noticed, like the Morpheus's head, the top of the head was too high. I was like, there were a few things where I noticed instantly afterwards. I'm like, proportion off, mouth is a bit big, the head's too high. And it was interesting having the other version that I'd done a couple of days ago, where I had no time pressure and I just took my time to make something cool. So I had already done what I felt was a pretty successful version of that portrait from the same reference, and then doing it again with such a brief time frame, and then noticing like, I don't feel as good about it as I did with the other one, which is okay because it was just a different time frame. But then to see, taking a moment after the stream to be like, what is it exactly which is not working so much? What's not working out with this? And is there a way I can kind of bring it around? Here as well, I feel like there are some proportion stuff that's a bit off, but part of the liberating experience of this timed sketching is the idea that there's not a lot of time. You just start drawing and see what happens. And they're not always, we may not always feel like it's accurate and the best drawing we've done, but just taking that time to make something, it can be really amazing what is possible in 10 minutes in a brief time frame. But then when your own kind of, after you've made something, to bring your own analytic viewpoint, to be like, what's working well about this? What do I like about it? Because sometimes there'll be things where if you're like a bit discontent, you're like, what is it exactly? The ink's not flowing very well here, but why am I not so content about this? Is there something I can do to change it, to bring it to a state where I feel... So sometimes just a few things can be done with, and it may be reinforcing the value structure, or fortunately with like doing the head too high, I just made a bolder, thicker line at the top of the head, and that kind of lowered it, and it gave a really cool sense of shadow behind, which was really cool. Gave like more of a sense of value, the bright light on the head. So I was able to spot it and see how I could change that. And sometimes it may not be something that you can really change, but just noticing what feels like it's working well, what feels like it doesn't, bringing that into focus can help you catch those things in future. Especially if it's something, sometimes there'll be like may have a habitual way of doing something, like making the eyes a bit too big, or the forehead too big. Like those are things like that can be a pretty classic thing that people repeat, myself included. And when you spot those things, I'm like, oh, maybe next time I can kind of take extra care when I'm working to see that I'm putting things in the right place. And that can work out. Jay, good morning. Lewis, hola. What sort of sketchbook am I working with? This is Hahnemühle Nostalgie A4 sketchbook. I like it a lot. I realized yesterday this pen with this paper is really good. I used some other Hahnemühle paper, which is called Skizze, so sketch paper, and I could not, it actually clogged up the nib of the pen a bit. So the way the paper wet was really different. This Nostalgie paper is really good at handling ink. And if I know some people are trying this pen and loving this pen, and some people are struggling, and I've realized like the paper is super important as well. So this is Hahnemühle Nostalgie paper, and that was 10 minutes. So thank you for joining me here for 10 minutes with Trinity at 10 in the morning. And Jay says, that's good to hear. My eyes are usually too wide. Yeah, and because somehow, like in the process of learning, we figure out ways to do things, and then maybe it becomes habitual. And if you can catch those things that you do repeatedly, and kind of bring them to awareness, then that can help avoid it. If it is something that you would like to do less of, just being aware of those things is super helpful. All right, that's it for today. Just adding a little bit, but 10 minutes a day is enough, just to maintain a practice. I remember back in the day, I was like, I would love to be better at drawing, but I'm just not a person who draws every day. And I used to think I need lots of time to create. But the idea of this series of live streams is just that we get together, spend 10 minutes, sketch something, and we've done it. And by the end of this practice throughout this month, we will have spent hours sketching together. And it all adds up. Everything you look at, every decision you make is all adding to your wealth of experience. So thank you for being here. Drawing hand emoji in the chat if you've made it to the end. This is cool, isn't it, Linda? I like it. It was a cool reference, as I was saying, to have beautiful cinematography and something from a film that I've seen so often. I know this moment, and it's really, really interesting to then take this time to spend on it. as I was talking about earlier, if you're interested in the idea of learning directly, intimately with me, we have a live one-on-one call and a group call. So that's 2 calls a month for at least 3 months. Check out my website. There is a mentorship banner at the top and a button that will take you to the mentorship page. And I'd be honored and delighted to work with you if that sounds of interest to you. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch. And I'll see you again here tomorrow. And I hope you all have an incredible Wednesday. Take care, much love, and